I'm joined here with my panelists, Beau, Dragone, and Eddie Fitz. Guys, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Danny. I'm just excited to talk some sports.
Danny, I could not be more proud sitting from this position right now and watching you host your first ever sports beat. It's a real student has become the master, but he was actually a master all along type scenario. It's just, you're a phenomenal guy, and I cannot wait to get through this episode with you, man. It's going to be great.
Coming from you, Eddie, that means the world. But let's talk about Speedy Claxton. Since his high school days, Long Island lifer, he's a big part of the Hofstra community. What does his hiring mean for the Hofstra community?
2 words, community representation. Speedy was a Hofstra legend, and now he's continuing this legacy by leading this team, and I can't wait to see what he does. I mean, he brings leadership, brotherhood, he brings so many things to this team, and for a school that is majority population New York, Long Island, this is even better for this Hofstra men's basketball team.
There were big shoes to fill when Joe Mihalik goes and steps into a different role at Hofstra Athletics here. And the only way to replace a legend is with a person of equal legendary status, and that's exactly what Hofstra did. They said they were going nationwide, but they stuck home, stuck true to Hofstra, and made an absolutely terrific decision.
Of course, now Speedy Claxton's reputation basketball-wise precedes him. Started at Hofstra, carried him to the tournament. 10 years in the NBA, won a ring with the Spurs in 2003, worked as a scout for the Warriors for a year, and he worked as a Hofstra assistant since 2013. What is the top thing that Speedy brings to the table as the new head coach of Hofstra men's basketball?
Speedy brings experience. Like you said, Danny, 10 years in the NBA. That's awesome. He's played for 5 different teams, and he won a championship in 2003. That's already good enough, but he knows how to win games, and I think that is the most important thing for this team and for this coaching staff.
Number one thing, Danny, is consistency. This is somebody who's already been here. When you lose somebody like Mike Fairley to Penn State University, you need to have somebody to steady the ship for these players who have been here for 2+ years, 3+ seasons. And that's exactly what Speedy Claxton's going to do. He's going to carry the vision that him, Mihalik, and Fairley all set out to do last year.
Now, talking about Hofstra as a program, they've been ascending for the last couple of years. Of course, they made the tournament before COVID shut it all down. This shortened season, they had a little bit of a rough patch, 8-6 in conference play, 13-10 overall. Speedy's going to have to really get this team back to that upper echelon of those mid-majors. What's his top priority coming into next year?
His top priority is motivation, and he needs to make this a team, leadership. This team, motivation, they're losing so many people, so many good players, but Speedy, especially as a new head coach, he needs to show this team what he's all about and this new winning mentality for Hofstra.
It's got to be focusing on getting the full potential out of Caleb Burgess. He was the youngest player in that starting lineup, and he is instrumental. He's probably the most special player that we have at this program currently. The team is run through a point guard system, and that's exactly what Speedy's going to do. He's going to try to get the most out of his double-digit assist, double-digit point type of player in Caleb Burgess.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that because with Hofstra, they're a very guard-heavy team, as is the CAA in general. You had Tariq Coburn, Jalen Ray really lead the team offensively. The only 2 bigs who really contributed and got big minutes, Isaac Conte and Kevon Kramer. And we know Speedy's specialty, of course, as an assistant was developing guards. So do you see Hofstra going towards more of even a heavier guard orientation? And if so, is that the better move?
I don't necessarily think he's going to do that right off the bat. He has a long time with these players right now in order to get a feel for their skills, get their game plan going, get in their head and really learn about these players and develop them as a team. So I don't think it'll necessarily be a guard-oriented team, but he's going to do what's best for this team no matter what.
Well, are they going to be a guard-oriented team? Most likely, because that's what the CAA is. It's a guard-oriented conference. The biggest name out of being a big man from the CAA has been Nathan Knight, and he's off currently playing in the G League out of William & Mary. But for Hofstra, they are a guard-centric team. They always have been, and they're going to run some forwards out there with them to try and get those rebounds. But for their zone, they always work with those guards, and that's exactly what they're going to do this time around as well.
Of course, and as you said, Burgess is going to be the future, trying to fill the shoes of 2 really good seniors who had a great campaign this past season. That's all the time we have for this discussion, but stay tuned for much more right here on Sports Beat. We'll be right back.